how does Vice President J.D. Vance sound to y'all? Well, guess what? Like it or not, 'tis getting nearer. Yes, the other guy, the main guy, sucks too, but Vice President J.D. Vance. But yeah, tis the season for the Yank elections. It's the Yank elections where the electoral culture just swallows any remnant that may have existed of the intellectual culture and the intellectuals. It's that electoral culture that needs to feed. Vice Vance. 3 days away. But no, I can't be that fast. I'm never fast, so this will come out after the election, and maybe, I didn't know these guys went foreign, and maybe, just maybe, I'll be sitting here saying, well, I was too much of a pessimist. For once in my life, I was too much of a pessimist. And one needn't be a partisan to think the way I think. All those guys that Kimmel's going to show later in this edition, all those guys, the David Frums and the Bill Crystals and all those guys, are we co-partisans because we dislike mobster, fraudster, and the stupid over-the-top pro-natalist Vance? Are we? No, we just see things clear. We see reality. Reality shows that there's more delusion in them. There's more delusion. Who knows? Maybe Vance is more skilled at running a country as peculiar as America than, the opponent guy, Tim Walz, who fucked everything up on October 1st. Maybe Vance, let's see what else is here. Maybe Vance really is better at governing a country like America. That's hard to know. I just know he's more deluded as a human being. Oh, look at me simping for Tim Walz. Look at me simping for Tim Walz. Simping for Coach. Hey, Coach. Fuck you. That's what I think of you, Coach. Probably Tim Walz, too. My coach never motivated me. My coach has just kind of heckled me. Mostly in high school. Fuck you, Coach, and fuck you, Tim Walz, but you're better than Vance as the VP. Vote for the coconut coach ticket. Even though, fuck you, Coach. Never had a good coach. Never liked the depictions, the positive depictions of coaches in cinema. Whereas this is if coconut wins. Whereas this is if Kamala wins. You never know what you're gonna get. 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 2019. Either way. Oh, hell yeah. Like victory, but it's not gonna happen. But this is the theme. Instead they play that god-awful, I don't even know what they play for her. They should play this. You never know what you're gonna get. 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 Is Nancy running things? And is Nancy running things? Is it? It's gotta be Nancy. I think it's Nancy. I think Nancy's been, the woman knows her stuff. The woman's been doing it. The woman knows how to cultivate a good economy. It's Nancy. Thank you, Nancy, for your lifetime of service. They call you an establishment shill, but Nancy, you've been showing up for decades. Thank you. Big hand to Nancy. Yay, Nancy. Thank you for the economy, Nancy. But now it's time to go, Nancy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's Schumer, you too. It doesn't matter what happens. You guys did great. You congressional Democrats probably did the best with the hand you were dealt. This whole generation of congressional Democrats. I'll even give a shout out to Bernie. Bernie, you were just too swept up in the red stuff. There's other colors, Bernie. There's other colors, Bernie. You were too wrapped up in the red stuff. But Bernie, you showed up. Schumer showed up. Nancy always showed up. Nimrod, for all you want to say, Nimrod showed up, we think. Barack Obama was always there. Hillary Rodham Clinton was always there. Bill Clinton was always there. You go further back, the slave owners were always there. The slave owner was there. Slave owners were there. And then the segregationist Dixiecrats. It's a wonderful party. It's a wonderful, wretched party, the Democrats. Americans, please. Americans, please. Goth should not be dead. And Americans, please don't end everything that party has accomplished in 3 days. Don't do it. He killed the bill that could have helped someone. Leader killed it. Leader can break taboo, and leader can kill kill the bill. Man, look at it go. All right, well, it is the morning of the 5th. It's the biggest day in the history of the century, or perhaps of all time. It's the biggest day of all time. It's the morning of November 5th, 2024. It's officially the biggest day of all time, because the Yanks are going to elect their president today. I'm letting this shit interfere with my high. I'm thinking about it that much. It does feel morose. The Crows are apropos, or they were apropos. They left, but I guess they're back. I just want to say, Blaze, that I'm listening to Glenn and John, and here's Glenn playing interference for the MAGA movement against John. Here's Glenn playing some kind of either contrarian on purpose to add flavor to the podcast, or Glenn Lowry really is that dull-witted in terms of just, the standpoint of political prudence. There's an objectively correct answer here, I contend, from the standpoint of political prudence. So if America is in a serious sense still a polity, it's a nation, it's a state, it's above all else, America is a polity. That's what I think about when I think of the word America. I try not to think about all this feel-good idealist shit. No, I just think about it as a polity. I think that's the healthiest way to think about America. And so we can say, just as is the case with any other polity, there's a prudent and less prudent vote. There's a prudent and anti-prudent, in fact, vote here. Right? So you vote coconut, you vote prudently. You vote Trump, you vote imprudently. You vote fraudster, you vote by definition imprudently. And he is the fraudster of all fraudsters. He's gotten all the other fraudsters to kneel. Right? That's the fraudster of all fraudsters. Is the one before whom all the other ones, one after the other, oh, how they kneel. Right? So you vote Trump, you vote fraudster, which is objectively speaking, imprudent. But I'm listening to these two, and John's making the usual points. He's kind of underselling them. John still doesn't have contempt for MAGA, the movement. He's perplexed as to how they can still be a MAGA movement, but he doesn't have contempt for it. he made sure to spell that out because Glenn's like on the attack. Glenn, oh, John, aren't you going to be contrite if this thing that's highly close ends up going the wrong way? Aren't you, and shouldn't all the Dems, especially all the establishment Dems, shouldn't you all be contrite in terms of how you handled, how you spoke about, how you, the shirts that they sell, they sell like hotcakes, their own merch that they buy and take pleasure in, like the fact that the Dems gave them the reason for that merch, quad deplorables, like Dems have a lot to apologize for. It's like they revel in such merch, but the Dems have something to apologize for here. Because 8 years ago, she called them, half of them, she made sure to say half of them, a basket of deplorables. And then it's like they sell a bunch of merch, but they keep the indignation. And like, here's Glenn, purported serious thinker in American political life, purported serious thinker, playing interference, playing contrarian in the best case, so the podcast can be more listenable and engaging. But I think he believes it. He thinks, this man has made more woe of wokeness than any other podcaster I've listened to. Certainly among the podcasters, he's bitched about wokeness, I get it. But all along, his main criticism is, I just want to call the truth as I see it. I'm a public intellectual. My name is Glenn Lowry. The wokies tell me, no, I have to see something in particular. All I want to do here is just relay reality as I see it, right? And then he repeats it like a gajillion times. But now, if you're a public official in America, and you want to look at MAGA and summarize them as they are, and not even do so completely, but only partly, here's Glenn Lowry telling John and the rest of them who spoke out harsh against Trump, some, yes, against MAGA too. Here he is saying that, if this thing happens to go the way it's going to go, the fact that, the contest was super close doesn't matter. The fact that you might end up on the losing end means something. It's like, Glenn, read the posts about not drawing ideological conclusions based on contingent factors. When there's been a lot of people who have written about that. If fraudster wins, no one has anything to apologize for, because look where it got us. Look where it got us, Glenn. Look where it got us. Your attitude of glad handing and pacifying a mad movement. It's a mad movement. It is objectively true. It's a cult of personality. You know what I would say? This is something no Dem will ever say or even insinuate, but I'll sum it up this way. MAGA are cognitive vermin, right? And so here's Glenn looking for reasons to reproach people who won't even go 1/10 there, but I'll go the whole way there, right? So why don't you say something to me, Glenn Lowry? Listen, Glenn Lowry, MAGA, the movement, as thinkers, can only ever be described as cognitive vermin. And I hope John, tells you what's what, but he won't. And yes, I've only started listening, but I cannot believe the prissiness of this kind of high ground he's trying to get. It's a prissy kind of high ground. Mr. Anti-Woke, I just want to call it how I see it. Why shouldn't public officials get to call it how they see it, Glenn? Come hell or high water. Right? It's not the Democrats' fault that there's a political movement in America that is comprised largely of cognitive vermin. That's not the Democrats' fault. That doesn't have to be anyone's fault. That's just ideological failure. You got your state failure. You got your, personal failure. And among the failures, there can be ideological failure. So yeah, MAGA as ideological failure. Because they're not going to vote prudently. They're going to vote fraudster. Against a perfectly milquetoast, right? I make some jokes here and there, but no, against a perfectly milquetoast DNC party line candidate. It's verminous of them. It's very verminous of them, if I may create a word. So that's my rant. This was a musical thing. I might put it in the next video. I might post it today. I just might post it today. Because I kind of wanted to do a standalone, musical coverage of, I just ran down a hill, musical coverage of the election. But I kind of think maybe I shouldn't end on a note that has any levity. Maybe I should end on this, very much sour, because I still predict I have reason to end on a sour note. Tick tock, President Vance. Well, Vice, right? I must have meant Vice. JD will be president one day, but not today. Like today, Frotzer becomes president and JD becomes Vice. Krang as Vice. Unless Vivek runs him out of town between now and 2028. Vivek won't be eligible in 2028. What am I saying? Vivek's going to have to wait till he runs JD out of town. One Krang for another. They're all Krangs. And they're debauched and debungled cognitively. But yeah, today it's going to be JD as Vice, I meant. And what else? They're not just vermin. Some of them are more hyena-like. They feast best when they feast together, but stand alone, like they can't get it done. But together, yes. Together, they can overwhelm and feast on the foe. And then, every one of them is prudent to ever so often just look up and look around and check to see if there's any more prey or enemies coming by. It's as if it's coordinated just instinctually. Every so often, one of them just perks their head up, their little bloody-nosed and mouthed head up, and just looks up and surveils. So they're also more hyena-like. So yeah, MAGA as vermin and hyenas. Thank you very much, folks. And now, to show that I'm fair and balanced, here's me chiding Kimmel a little here and there.
Would like us to believe that our children's penises are in grave danger.
Your child goes to school, and they don't even call you, and they change the sex of your child. Perform sex change operation and send them back home. Make the boy into a girl and not tell the parents. Your boy leaves the school, comes back a girl. It was a he.
I mean, why do they laugh? It's the same thing every time. Why do they laugh? Or I guess a few must be paid to laugh.
And comes back
in Kimmel's audience, right?
She. You say
they laugh after every. Like, we all know what he's about to say, and then when he finally says it, a girl or boy, they laugh every single time. I guess they think they're laughing at him, but we'll see who's laughing. We'll see who's laughing by the time this video goes up, because I have made peace. It's November 1st. I have made peace that Monster Embraces Life is the only election-related video that I'm gonna put out before the election. Knowing me, I'm going to be too lazy to put the rest of this shit out. So y'all are just going to have to pretend that, it's kind of, the election hasn't happened yet. Or let's pretend the election's happened, whatever.
Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation and offered without parental consent. Can you even believe we're saying this?
No, none of us can believe you're saying this. Public schools are not giving gender...
He said often, right? So it's not often. In public schools, it's never. But there's other establishments where, there were certain people who were supposed to be more responsible who weren't as responsible as they were supposed to be on this, right? And you're like Jones. Like, you don't want to give an inch.
Your surgeries to children or any surgeries.
No, but there was some data that was misrepresented. There's people who are institutionally, kind of like this, but they just misrepresented some data. They presented some data on the, transition stuff was more solid and more conclusive than it was. And they either did it because they're fanatical about the issue itself, or because they're like this. When you're institutionally like this, you do stuff you shouldn't do.
Children. And without the parents' permission, parents can't send their kids to school with peanut butter, okay? Schools won't let our kids eat nuts. You think they're okay with cutting them off? This is a lie. You have to know that. You do know this. This is not real. The president should be focused on things that are actually things. There are so many difficult problems that need to be solved. And this guy, he can't stop talking about windmills.
The windmills, they don't work. They're rusting and rotting. They're making a lot of noise. I can hear it for 2 miles away. They're destroying the country. If you want to see a lot of...
In the good old days, politicians and presidents were presidential 24/7, so you can trust them more, because they didn't say stuff like this even 24/7 when the cameras weren't rolling. So this whole genre, he says wacky things. No, it's just... He's just non-presidential around cameras. But who actually believes that all the previous presidents were, presidential even when the camera stopped rolling?
And just look underneath.
It's another kind of nostalgia. They're all about the nostalgia crap and how it just distorts, but like cognitive distortions because of nostalgia. But the Kimmels of the world, they have their own nostalgia.
All over the place. It looks like a bird cemetery. They're killing the bald eagle.
Let's just pretend that all the predecessors were presidential when the cameras. That's all you're doing. You're just exposing how he's too stupid to be presidential. When the cameras are rolling. Sometimes his non-presidential personality kind of forgets to, but not in terms of dress. In terms of dress, he knows to play the game. But in terms of the shit he says, on certain things, he's not presidential when the camera rolls. But he still knows enough to pander to the right people, notably the religious, which is what Kimmel doesn't get. Kimmel thinks by playing this, he's going to make some difference. But no, it's about you gotta meet the religious issue head on. Like, he panders to them. Enough of them are convinced that he's going to back them, or that he believes the crap himself. But it doesn't even matter. Enough of them kind of know it's a symbiotic relationship at this point. He needs them, and they need him. Because, he'll back their stuff. He gave them the justices they want. And, the fact that he says things about sharks and windmills. Like, Kimmel, is this the best you got pre-election? Is this the best you got? No. You got to tackle the issue head on, the issue of religious faith, which all of you in the entertainment world, all of you in the entertainment world, whatever, establishment world. No, it's been nice and tucked away, pre-internet. You all kind of knew the religious were insane, but they were... they weren't as devout because they didn't have anyone who was next level devout who they could kind of tune into. With the internet, and especially with Twitter, now they can tune into, all those religious moderates can tune into the devout, and they can say, well, the non-devout, there are co-religionists, but they're non-devout. Look, on Twitter and on other sites of the internet, there's a bunch of devout people. Yeah, all you establishment hacks, you've stolen. America's supposed to be a devoutly Christian nation. And only Don gets it. So I'm going to vote for Don, because America needs to be a devoutly Christian nation. Don, even though he may not be devout, he'll play ball with the devout. So yeah, we're going to vote Don. And Kimmel, all this crap, none of that shit's going to matter. You're going to have to tackle the religious issue head on. You're going to have to call religious people extremely deluded. Not so you can win them over, but so you can just show them what's what. And you can show them how entitled they are to think that their religion has any place in the public square. So Kimmel, you're not willing to do that. And most other mainstream talking heads aren't willing to do that. Because it was nice and comfortable. We tolerate religion. We tolerate religion. Well, what happens when religion stops tolerating you? Right? So it's not because of us, but it's because of them. That now it's them versus us. It really is us or it's them. The forces of secularism will win, or the forces of theocracy are going to win. In the best case, so they can eliminate the other theocracy, Islamist theocracy, which I guess is better. But still, I think secularism can beat Islamist theocracy too. But I guess they just can't picture that. It's Christian theocracy or Islamist theocracy. There's no other way. I guess you can have Jewish theocracy.
Driving the whales, I think a little batty. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that. Wah, wah, wah. The wind is
Yeah, they don't give a shit. And plus, it's just, other presidents said the same kind of shit back in the day. They just made sure the cameras weren't rolling.
The wind is both.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The people who think the wind is both are crazy people standing on a street corner yelling at cars. He's completely preoccupied with nonsense. I'd like you to close your eyes now and imagine you're at the dinner table on a Sunday night. Your grandpa's there, and Grandpa's had a long day. Started the day tweeting hate messages.
Kimmel's not copyright, right? Kimmel better not be copyright.
Just Taylor Swift. He ended it dancing to the Village People for 39 minutes. You ask him to pass the green beans, and Grandpa launches into this.
But if I'm sitting down and that boat's going down and I'm on top of a battery, and the water starts flooding in, I'm getting concerned. But then I look 10 yards to my left and there's a shark over there. So I have a choice of electrocution or shark. You know what I'm going to take? Electrocution. I will take electrocution.
I'm glad we agree on the important stuff, Donnie.
Every single time. Do we agree?
No, we don't. Because we don't know what you're talking about.
God, can you imagine them trying to, all the audience? Kimmel probably knows what he was talking about, but he's just pretending. But can you imagine the audience for this? If they can't keep up with that kind of Trumpy, tangent, can you imagine them trying to keep up with my tangents?
We don't know why you were talking about it. I mean, aren't you supposed to be running for president? Aren't you supposed to be worried about important topics? And here's the thing. It's kind of funny, these silly random rants of his.
That just means the stump, right? Whoever runs for president, they're just on the stump. You can do the stump and do a bunch of other shit too, right? Like Coconut. Coconut's supposed to be running the country because Nimrod's not doing it. So Coconut's both on the stump and she's running the country. Oh, she's not running. We don't know who's running the country. Coconut's, the economy's too good, in my view. That's how you know Coconut's not running the country or not involved in much of the decision-making is the economy's too good.
It would be fine if he was hosting a podcast or selling knives at the farmer's market.
But yeah, this would all fall better if, it went up before the election. But I just know I'm not going to work that hard between now and then.
He's supposed to be leading us. People are listening to him, and the country is getting crazier because he makes it okay to be nuts. Remember when all those people were in Dallas waiting for JFK Jr. and his dad to come back to life, and then he would serve as Trump's running mate?
Okay, that really was crazy. Yeah, sometimes Kimmel is right.
824. Okay, let's try to imagine John F. Kennedy saying the same thing Trump just said.
But if I'm sitting down...
Kennedy was a Catholic, so Kennedy believed there was Christ in crackers. Or he just pretended, which is worse.
Going down and I'm on top of a battery and the water starts flooding in, I'm getting concerned. But then I look 10 yards to my...
Yeah, so Musk does this kind of, AI makes you say shit you didn't really say to Coconut. And, people call it out rightly, but Kimmel does it too, but I guess it's different when Kimmel does it because it's a comedy show. Yeah. Am I a comedy show at this? What am I? I'm a variety show. Yeah, that's what this is. This channel is a variety show.
Left and there's a shark over there, so I have a choice of electrocution or a shark. You know what? I'm going to take electrocution.
Oh, it's funny because he didn't really say that. That's why
and
it's...
I hate Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I do too. No, I don't hate Taylor. I just hate, what do they call themselves? What are Taylor's minions called? There's some kind of Taylor army. Yeah, it's the most zealous of the musical armies.
Much nuttier when you hear it from a real president, right? Donald Trump is the exact meeting point between
the
QAnon
old,
and QVC. You remember when Ronald Reagan was selling high tops in the 80s? No, you don't, because he wasn't. Reagan didn't sell sneakers. Clinton didn't sell pork rinds. Bush didn't sell baked beans. Presidents don't sell products.
Well, they go on these, insanely lucrative tours, right? Like the Obamas. I mean, I'd prefer the president shill for, this and that, products that are not that costly, than to accept like $1 gajillion per speech contracts that the Obamas did. Not just Barack, but Michelle too, Big Mike. I forget what it is, but it's some obscene amount they get paid to give these stupid talks at universities and shit. So it's bad. It's bad all around. Trump shilling's bad, but that's bad too.
Except for one who sells a lot of them.
Hello, everyone. I have something incredible to share today. We are announcing the
I think it's the one with the photo
of Trump coins. It's a really beautiful book. I'm doing my first official.
Oh, I wonder if Kimmel's gonna mock the photo I mocked, the one where it's him and the two Asian folks.
Donald J. Trump NFT collection right here and right now. My new book, Save America, is now available for order by popular demand. I'm doing a new series.
No, it's a clip show.
Trump digital trading cards. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoin.
And looking a lot younger and a lot more fit, and not even fit because of the suit, but even like in a regular T-shirt, like they make him super fit. Like Jones gave himself the jawline, and they give him muscles.
That's the real deal. That's the real deal.
That's how you know you can dunk, is if you got golden shoes.
My last two Trump digital trading card collections sold out in just hours, and now I'm
Air Jordan. And then you get the Air Jordans. Oh no, I still can't dunk.
My latest series called the...
But they're Air Jordans.
Mugshot edition. Here it is. If you want to go out and get it.
I didn't really think I could dunk. It's just I thought I could, jump a little higher when I got the Air Jordans. But no, in my defense, I was like 12, but I still thought, they'd make me jump a little higher, but no.
Out and get it. Have fun with it. My new Trump watches. That's a lot of diamonds. I love gold. I love diamonds. We all do.
I need a new watch. My watch tore like several years ago, and I never got a new watch. I'm sick of looking at my phone to check the time. So maybe I'll buy the Trump watch.
All should get a copy.
But only if he loses, I'll buy the Trump watch. But he's not going to lose.
God bless the USA Bible. Let's make America.
God, he really is going to win.
Pray again. God bless you, and God bless.
At this point, it's November 1st. At this point, I would be shocked if he loses, just because of how tight it is, and how I think every time it's this tight, it spells bad news for Team Blue.
USA.
Now those God bless the USA Bibles, you probably know, weren't even made in the USA. They're made in China. That's how tough he is on China. He forces them to make his Bibles for him.
That's a good point.
How does this not bother
I can grant good points. I'm the only person in history who just calls bullshit, but then grants the good points.
How is this not embarrassing? This is like a bizarro world. He's selling Trump Bibles because, of course, he's selling. This is a man.
Yeah, you dare not say anything to the believers of Scripture.
The word of the Lord.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think
I didn't even think they would branch off into religion, but here we go.
Night in Iowa. Some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible.
Yeah, well, he's done that numerous times. When he did that first book in the 80s, they was asked the question point blank and just overtly skirted the question, and just it's the land of the pivot. It always kind of was, but The internet's just made America and the kind of big time players in America. The internet's just made it more okay to pivot. Like you never pay a price for pivoting.
Very personal, so I don't want to get into races. I don't want to get
It's just the amount of pivoting that they do when they like the MAGAs try to debate destiny. It's just 90% pivoting, and somehow they can live with themselves. Like what? Like how are you not? How are you not intimidated to debate someone who makes you pivot so much? Like all the MAGAs who debate destiny, it's amazing. It's unbelievable.
It means a lot to you. You think about it, like
The Bible means a lot to me. But
Yeah, see, like if I was asked about something I couldn't answer, like I would never live it down. But see, that's why the world sucks. Is because people like me know that we'd never live it down. Whereas like people who suck, it's like no, there ain't no stopping. It's true. They don't know what it's like to feel shame. There's no other explanation for it. The shame just doesn't exist.
get into specifics.
Like they know what it's like to feel their ego bruised, but that's like if they lose something that they can't there's no way to work around the fact that you lost, like a chess match. See, if philosophy were as crystal clear as a chess match, the world could be a lot better. But there's no official way to prove that you beat someone at philosophy the way it is if you could just show that you checkmated someone. But yeah, he feels no shame unless he definitively loses something where it's like he can't wiggle around the fact that he lost, which I guess elections are also exempt from.
you can decide a verse.
No, I don't want to do that. I mean,
Old Testament guy or New Testament?
probably.
What did he say?
Verse.
No, I don't want to do that. I mean,
Old Testament guy or New Testament?
probably equal.
I don't know. I think that's going to make Shapiro a little upset.
Sharing his favorite Bible
Shapiro and the rest of them.
verse is too personal. But did you hear about Arnold Palmer's big one? Boy, look, he obviously hasn't read the Bible. And that's okay. Just say you haven't read the Bible. If you did, you know you're not supposed to lie about reading the Bible. It's the 9th commandment. The lying is unprecedented and relentless. So many Republican mayors, governors, senators, people from his own party who want to support him, beg him to stop spreading these ridiculous stories. But he won't even do it when he's confronted by Fox News.
When you said, it's gone viral that they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, you said you're just reporting what had been said. But why not say now, well, look, that turned out not to be true.
I don't know if it's true or not true. I read something.
Yeah, I mean, like they're setting themselves up. Them set themselves up. The Democrats set themselves up for disaster because all you have to do is find one clip. Are they really that confident? There's not a single clip. Why would they be that confident? Read into Haiti. I'm not saying they're bad as a people, but I'm just saying you shouldn't be surprised. Like the Chinese and many other people, the Far East people, they eat cats and dogs too. What was my old joke? What do you say in China if you see a dog running down the road? Is you say, "Catch that burger."
And who sides with Russia over the CIA and sent COVID equipment to Putin at the height of the pandemic when Americans couldn't even get it. Not to mention the 34 felony convictions. Will he be president from jail? I mean, how do you see that working? Listen.
Well, no, because that's why they got the. Oh, nice work, me again. That's why they got the. I guess it's not that bad. That's why they got the criminal immunity passed in the spring, right? The SCOTUS passed the criminal immunity thing. No, it did it for Trump. So there's no way he's going to end up in jail if he's elected, because now the president, no matter who the president is, the president has criminal immunity. Like forever and ever and ever and ever. The president has criminal immunity, and they just passed that for Trump. Because it's pretty much his SCOTUS. It's his Supreme Court. He doesn't even have to be a president to have influence on the Supreme Court for him to pass that absurd thing that the president shouldn't have, should have criminal immunity. Like, it doesn't matter what he does, right? He has criminal immunity. Do people understand what that means? Like kings, right? Kings had more to fear back in the day than the president does now.
Politics in a lot of ways is like sports. You probably just root for the team your dad roots for. Maybe you've been a Republican your whole life.
And that's a problem in sports too, right? You shouldn't just mindlessly root for the hometown team. You should assess the character of all the athletes, and the team that has more character aggregated by individual athletes, that's the team you want to root for.
Team, and it feels wrong not to.
I guess in sports it's kind of hard to that character, and they don't even have character. They're a bunch of numbskulls, so maybe it doesn't apply to sports. But still, you shouldn't just, you should look at the style of the athletes, kind of how flashy they are, or just the style of game, and then you should just objectively like the teams that have more style in their game than whatever happens to be your hometown team. But no, that's I don't know. I'm the only sports fan who thought that way.
Root for them or to vote for them, but this time around, you wouldn't be alone. You have.
I was a sports fan back in the day.
A lot of company because hundreds of
I
prominent
was emotionally involved in sports.
Republicans, including dozens of members of his own administration.
But it's all the swamp, according to MAGA. It's all swampy, so they don't care.
Generals, senators, his own chief of staff.
I think she I think she's pro-Trump. I don't think she... Yeah, I guess she changed her mind, but she was pro-Trump.
I mean,
Certainly her twats indicate she's pro-Trump, or at least, not pro-coconut.
Dick Cheney is...
Yeah.
All believe he is unfit to be president. This has never happened.
Yeah, he released like one hunting ad. Like he was out hunting and he said, look, Trump did the bad thing on January 6th, so continue hunting. Continue being an asshole and hunting, but don't vote for Trump.
Before. And you know who else isn't voting for him?
Hunting for sport, whatever. You gotta hunt to subsist, fine.
I'll tell you who. This guy. Mike Pence, his adoring, subservient vice president, said, I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
1.5.
Who would have ever thunk it? I mean, it's like if milk turned on cookies. His own vice president. How much more do you need? But if you do need more, I'd suggest you watch that rally he had at Madison Square Garden.
Well, yeah, they wanted to hang the guy. So, of course, they're not going to be swayed that he's not voting their way because they wanted to hang the guy. And the ones who didn't want to hang the guy didn't really care. There were some who wanted to hang the guy.
Listen to all 3 hours of his interview with Joe Rogan because most elections are
I'm
about
not
policy.
gonna
This
do
one
that
is
shit.
not.
What was
Rally
it?
he had at Madison Square Garden. Listen to all 3 hours of his interview with Joe
Yeah,
Rogan.
waste your time with like numbskull talking to bigger numbskull.
Because most elections are about policy. This one is not. This is about sanity and security and democracy. I saw a shirt the other day.
Yeah, well, that is true.
I support Trump because he pisses off the people who piss me off. And it's funny, and I get it. Sometimes it feels like no one has a sense of humor anymore. But is that really
Is that really what it feels like? It doesn't feel that way to me. I've never been prouder of my sense of humor, actually.
all we want for America is to piss each other off? I don't want that. Anyway, if you made it this far...
Well, I think, and this is speculation now, so I'm speculating now, but I think they do want that because they just resent the godless because they can't quite handle the fact that, the godless kind of make them believe that it's possible to live and exist and not be absolutely mortified by one's mortality. I think that's what it comes down to, at least with this religious divide. They do just want to piss off Team Blue because Team Blue is far more irreligious and they can't handle the idea that perfectly functional people are irreligious and their mortality doesn't bother them because they don't even know why. The MAGAs, the religious extreme MAGAs, they don't know why they're religious. They haven't quite, connected the dots. They're as religious as they are because emotionally they can't handle their mortality and, the mortality of their loved ones who have passed. So that's what you need to say, Kimmel. And so that's why they just want to what?
Security and democracy. I saw a shirt the other day. It said, I support Trump because he pisses off the people who piss me off.
Yeah, and the people who piss that person off, in all likelihood, it's because they can't handle their mortality. And seeing other people who can handle mortality, it just sets them off. But not all the religious crazies, just some of the religious crazies. It's true of them.
Oh, and another thing about the MAGAs, it's not just vermin and hyenas. They're also ingrates. These are people who are fundamentally incapable of appreciating what they do have. That's why they're willing to risk to blow it all away on some vengeance quest. It was even admitted that, even if we crash the economy with all these tariffs, then we can build it from scratch in our own image. It was admitted. So there's some in the MAGA world who are ingrates because they're of that accelerationist mold. What's an accelerationist? It's just a political ingrate. They don't see all the ways we still have it good because whatever, too much outsourcing, too much corruption, too much, overturning of the social values, so let's all burn it down. Yeah, y'all's is just ingrates. You're incapable of seeing how lucky you actually are to be in America with all its flaws. It's just, you know what MAGA is? It's just if Alex Jones did Schoolhouse Rock and infused a bunch of conspiracy bullshit into it. That's what MAGA is. That's the list of grievances. It's Schoolhouse Rock if done by Alex Jones, AJ. It's a mad rant in the form of Schoolhouse Rock. It's like, oh no, we're actually educating you. No, y'all's is just a bunch of ingrates. And among you, there's some accelerationists. And they might be fucking elected, or at least they might be in the ear of the vice by way of tech bros. They're of the accelerationist mold. And there's just some people who are just that daft and can't figure out that, tariffs are going to make everything cost more. Wall-to-wall tariffs. You need tariffs to protect some things in, national security interests. But, this fraudster wants wall-to-wall tariffs. Don't do it, America. Don't do it. you can be prudent. You've all been prudent before. You know, it is in large part the electoral prudence in America that gave us the Eisenhower administration. And then Eisenhower wasn't a, you know, kind of ideological hothead. You know, that went a long way in, you know, having the West win the Cold War. So, you know, you all were prudent in the past. You all picked, you know, the sane enough people. You know, why can't you do it anymore? Because the internet? Yeah, I guess because the internet. The internet has brought the hyenas together. And now all they can do is feast. And then the other ones just look the other way. Audio quality is going to be shit on this one. I'm not putting my earphones back in. Not for this. This is just a visual one. You know, I'm ranting and I'm gesticulating and it's outside and I smash it and I got no napkins and I got a ways to go and I got no napkins. And I don't want to ruin the rest of this, you know, but so this kind of, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you're high and ranting outside and smash your finger against your device. Yay! Right. I guess I'm supposed to be providing some sort of up-to-the-minute, in-depth, granular analysis as to who's got the lead. Well, I'm not going to be doing that, partly because I don't have a team behind me, so I can't make the video happen if I also do that. You know, and well, what can I see from here that none of you all can see, right? That's just what the media people, the alt media people especially, you know, they just check the internet for shit and then talk about it and then pretend the viewers can't just check the internet for the same kind of data. So yeah, I'll spare you that. But yeah, pretty please, Americans, pretty please. Or whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm probably making too much hay about it, ain't I? Yeah, I'm probably making too much hay about it. No one at work is even conscientious about it. No one at work even, I'm trying to strike up talks about it. Yeah, they're all like, but we're Canadians here. I'm like, but it's not about the ballot casting, retards. It's about the commentary. I guess I'll have more to commentate on if Fraudster wins, so it's not all bad. It's silver linings again.